Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and I got an exciting fold for you today. I found it on Pinterest, I backtracked it to Carol's page, and I'm not going to attempt her last name because I know I'll get it wrong, but look at this. It's an upright diamond fold card and it folds out. Look at the dimension on that. Isn't it awesome? Let me get it a little bit closer so you can see the little images that I used. They're besties! There's that one, and when you open it up, this one is on the inside, and on the other side is this one, and they come together, all three of them together. I just cut them apart, and I will link them directly below so you can find that digital image easily if you really want this one. And let's get started. Here's what you'll need to make the card today. 3 pieces of 12 by 12 paper. Make sure that one is a solid color for the base, and the other 2 can be any pattern paper of your choice. You'll need your trimmer, and then you'll also need some sort of tool for scoring. And that's it. Let's start with the base of our card. That's cut at 11 by 7. So we're going to go ahead and slide it down to the 11 mark and cut that inch off. And then turn it 90 degrees and cut it at the 7-inch mark. The pieces of our pattern paper are all going to be cut down into rectangles so that we can later make them into the diamonds we need and the triangles we need. These will be cut at 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm going to start out by cutting mine at 6 3/4. And then turning this piece on its side and doing one at 3 3/4. And another one at 3 3/4. Then the other piece, I'm going to do the same thing. Cut it down to 6 3/4. Turn it and cut 2 pieces at 3 3/4. Now make sure you save all the pieces that we have left over. And what we have now are 4 rectangles that will eventually be our diamonds and our triangles and the base of our card. Now take your solid colored base piece and put it in your trimmer. We're going to do a little marking and a little scoring. Start off at the 2-inch mark. Make a little mark, not a score all the way down. A little mark at the top and a little mark at the bottom. We're going to need those to do some cutting later on. Then slide the piece over to the 4-inch mark and make a score all the way down. Then slide it to the 6-inch mark and make a score all the way down. And the last one will be at the 7-inch mark. Slide it down to the 7 and make a score all the way down. Now we're going to turn it 90 degrees because we need one more score line at the 3 1/2 mark. So slide it to 3 1/2 and make a little mark on the end because we're going to need that one later too. Okay, let's do the last 2 crisscross marks. We're going to make an X on here. We need 2 marks from the 2-inch point to the 6-inch point. So we're going to put our 2-inch point right here. We're going to line that up with the 6-inch mark. Make sure that you're not going all the way to this last 7-inch mark. You don't want to do that. So start at the 2 and go diagonally down to the 6. And then we're just going to turn it the other way and finish off the X, and we're going to start at the 6 and go down to the 2. Again, make sure you're not going all the way up to that last 7-inch mark. You should meet the other lines right here in the middle as you're continuing down to the 2-inch mark. So then we're left with two straight lines, an X in the middle with a straight line meeting right in the center. And then we're going to take this side that's open and we're going to do some cutting. We're going to use that same 2-inch mark, and remember the 3.5 mark we made here? We're going to go from that 2-inch to that 3.5 mark, and we're going to cut that piece off and then turn it so that we're marking the other 2-inch here and the point we just made, and we're going to cut that part off. So your card should now look like this. Let's prepare our diamonds and triangles for when we want to embellish our card. We need to put this in at 1 7/8, which is the small mark just before the 2, and make a notch at the top and a notch at the bottom. And the long way, we're going to go in at 3 3/8, which is the little mark just before the 1/2 inch mark, and make a notch at the top and the bottom. The next step is simple. We're just going to connect the dots. So all of these marks that we made, we're going to connect the top one to the side one, and this time we're cutting, and we're going to cut that off and save these pieces, and then the side one that we ended on to the bottom one and cut that one off, and then keep turning the card and doing the same thing. So the point that we made with the one on the side here, and then the last 2 points. Okay, and do the same with the other 3 pieces. Let's work on folding, making our crease marks with our fold lines, and then we'll add the pieces that we've cut. So on your farthest score line, the 7-inch mark, you want to fold it in half like you're making an envelope. It looks like an envelope. And then you're going to take it back on the 6-inch mark and fold it back this way. Okay, that's the direction we want them to go in. Then we're going to go ahead and crease these 2 diagonal marks. You can use a bone folder if you want. And then make a fold right there, one that runs right through the X. Okay, and then what we want is we want these 2 pieces right here, we want them to come up. And as they come up, you're going to push your diamond forward and give that a press. And then that way you've got the card made. The diamond is there, and it'll open up, and it'll close. Now comes the fun part. We get to add all the pieces that we've just cut onto our card. We do have one more thing to cut. However, I skipped that to the end because of the fact that you need to pick your pattern and how you're going to lay this out so that you know what pattern paper to use to cut the last base part for here. Okay, so if you put this down here, then you might want to put this other one down here so that it's opposite. Get what I mean? So if you decided to put this one here and we had already pre-cut this pattern paper, you might have been a little disappointed because you might want to have used this piece. So that was opposite. So after we figure out how we want to glue these on, we're going to take these leftover pieces we have and cut the rest of the base for the card. So I think that I want this piece to go here, and I'm pretty sure that you can kind of go through the pieces that you have, decide where you want them to go, so let's speed up the process. this is the front of my card, and I'm going to open it up, and I've got this pattern here, and then the sparkly pattern here. So what I want here is the same as this one. So I'm going to take one of these extra that I have, and I'm going to cut it right in half so that it's an even match for that. Start from somewhere in the middle and cut out towards your edges so that you don't bend your points. And that'll go right there. And then on the back of your card, if you flip it over, you can cover this one if you want, but it'll mostly be hidden. So that is totally up to you. I'm just going to add some glue and add this last piece here. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut that piece for the base and our two long panels. Okay, so when I close my card, I have this sparkly here. So what I want for over here is this one so that it's an opposite. Okay, and it's already cut at the length that we want. Now all we have to do is cut it at the width, and it's going to be 3 3/4. In case your piece wasn't cut or you're wondering at all, this one was also cut at the same, so you should have those pieces exactly right. But in case you don't, it should be 6 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, and the next thing, I want this one to be sparkly, so I'm going to take that sparkly piece, which is already cut at 6 3/4 for me, and now I want to cut the long piece that's going to go on there at 7/8. So it's not quite an inch. Okay, I need that for the inside of my card, and on the outside of the card right here, when I close it, I want it to be the same as this one. So it looks like one continuous piece going all the way around the card. So I'm going to use this little leftover piece that I have. It's not quite as wide as it needs to be, but I'm not going to let that bother me. It's still going to look like a piece that was totally meant to go on that card. If you're not happy with that, you go ahead and take another piece of our leftover and cut it at 6 3/4 by 7/8, and you'll have another strip that'll fit there. This one I cut for my inside one. I'm going to want that to match up with this one, so I'm just matching them up. Okay, and then let's glue this one down first. I'm going to put mine all the way in towards this edge so that this white edge right here looks really even on the outside. Because once we close our card here, we want that to match up with this piece that's going in there. I'll show you what I mean after I get some glue on it. It's really pretty simple. I'm just eyeing it up to make sure that everything looks even. So I'm seeing that these two line up. It needs to go up just a little bit. And I'm pushing it in because I want that edge to be hidden here. And then it looks like one whole piece going all the way around. And we've got everything glued in place. You're done! So we finished our card. I hope you finished along with me, and if you did not, Go back and make the pauses that you need to and keep trying. I did this card one time before I taped it, and then I made all kinds of errors along the way and I revamped. So we all learn at our own pace, and we'll all get there eventually. So don't give up. Here's the card that we made today. And I'm going to leave it up to your imagination to go ahead and just embellish this any way you wish. Add your own images or your sparkly doodads, your bling, everything that you want to. If you enjoyed this video today, please give me a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. Tell your friends and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next video.